I'm currently walking across a bridge that won't exist in a couple months. You see, this here is the Paen Island Bamboo Bridge in Kampong Cham, Cambodia. At one point in time, this was the longest bamboo bridge in the entire world. Well, not this one exactly. You see, as I said, this bridge, well, it's a different bridge to the one that existed when it was the longest, because each and every year, the residents of the local city of Kampong Cham dismantle the bridge stick by stick, only to rebuild it by the following year. My name is Edinger, and today we're going to be uncovering the fascinating story behind the Paen Island Bamboo Bridge before this one again disappears, just like I may disappear from your algorithm, so be sure to subscribe. So first off, some context. Why does this bridge exist in the first place? Well, historically, it was built out of necessity to connect the families living on Paen Island to the mainland during the dry season. For many years, this bridge acted as the main way of connecting the big city of Kampong Cham to the island of Paen, which is nestled in between two branches of the Mekong River. Compared to Kampong Cham, Paen Island is significantly more rural, with thousands of families living on the island and working the land. But important to note, this region has two distinct seasons: the hot season and the very hot season, or rather, the dry season and the wet season. Now, in the wet season, the water of the Mekong River is full and fast, allowing people that live on Paen Island to easily cross the river by boat to sell their local vegetables and fruits at the city markets in Kampong Cham. However, in the dry season, like it is behind me, you'll see that the water of the Mekong River really recedes, revealing a lot of sandbars, making crossing by boat significantly more difficult. Initially, construction of this bridge was one of practicality and sustainability. You see, bamboo is actually a lot stronger as a construction material than you might think. It's often called nature's steel due to its high tensile strength, flexibility, and it grows really rapidly and abundantly in this region, so it just makes sense to use it as a building material. It's kind of crazy. So you might be asking, okay, Evan, but then why do the residents tear down the bridge every year? That seems like a huge waste of effort. Well, the thing is, if the residents didn't tear down the bridge, the Mekong River would do it itself. As strong as bamboo is to support all the traffic going over the river itself is just so much stronger. It's water, you know? What are you thinking? You can't beat water. If the bamboo bridge were left up, by June, the constant heavy rain throughout this region would cause the Mekong River to swell, taking with it the entire bamboo bridge in bits and pieces all the way through the river down south to the Mekong River Delta, south of Ho Chi Minh City, where I was last week. And so the South China Sea would have even more unidentified things floating through it, this time just being sticks of bamboo. Political takes. By dismantling the bridge themselves, the community is able to reuse this bamboo each and every year. And in fact, I talked to the host of the place we're staying in Kampong Cham, and he told me that one of the guys that builds the place actually chops the bridge down the middle before the rainy season, and then he actually dismantles it and takes the bamboo to use in cooking. So it's really nice, actually. It's difficult enough to rebuild a bridge again and again, year after year, especially considering this one here is hundreds of meters long and made up of over 50,000 individual bamboo poles that I'm bouncing on right now. It is a fascinating feat of engineering to behold, because this bridge, though it is now just for pedestrians, at one point also supported cyclists and mopeds. And I've even seen videos online of cars going over previous iterations of this bamboo bridge. I never would have expected bamboo to be able to support the weight of cars, but hey, this is crazy. Now, walking over it, I will say, there are bits where I'm like, it's a bit bouncy, and bits of it, but hey, I haven't fallen in yet. And given that it's 35 degrees and there's direct sun and there's nowhere to protect myself, being in the water doesn't sound so bad. But with all this effort, you might be wondering, why haven't the Cambodian government stepped in to build a more long-term solution rather than having the people here build this each and every year? Well, fun fact, they actually did, which is what makes this story even more interesting. In March 2018, the Paen Bridge was officially opened, providing year-round access to vehicles up to 30 tons. And this didn't matter if it was the wet season, the dry season. It's a concrete bridge. It's easy to get across. This new concrete bridge represented a lot to the nation of Cambodia, with the Prime Minister Samdech Hun Sen saying of the bridge, "I'm very proud to say that Cambodia can now build our own bridge with our own hand. Not only this bridge, I believe that in the future, we can build everything by our own if we all reunite and improve ourselves." You see, what the Prime Minister is trying to say is that this bridge stands in stark contrast to the other infrastructure projects in the area. For instance, just over there is the Kizuna Bridge, which was built in 2001, and that was funded, you can probably tell by the name Kizuna, by the Japanese government. And so with this bridge, it was built by Cambodia, by the Cambodian government, as a way to show they don't need anyone else, they can do it themselves. But I thought it was really interesting that his quote was that Cambodians can build our own bridge by our own hands, saying like this is the first time, when in reality, I mean, this bridge behind me has always been built by Cambodians each and every year. And when the new concrete bridge opened up, many of the locals here didn't want to give up the tradition that they'd been doing for many, many, many years, and so they continue to build it, even though it's not necessary. This bridge is an icon to the city, and even though it isn't necessary, the people here continue to build it to represent their city. And hey, the bridge is also bringing in a huge amount of tourism from people like me who wouldn't have otherwise heard about this lovely place. In fact, an article posted by the Khmer Times in October 2024 says that this province has been experiencing a huge surge in tourism, and I believe that this bridge is a partial cause of that. Tourists are coming here and spending their money supporting local businesses, including those run by the people that have built this bridge. That, and there is a fee to cross the bridge. Locals do have to pay the fee, but it's incredibly small, whereas tourists like me, the cost for going across and back, $1 US. Yeah, fun fact, in Cambodia, they actually use the US dollar a lot, but it has to be a very crisp US dollar. They're very funny about it. You can't give them an old one. Gotta be crisp. And a $1 toll does sound cheaper than anything you'd find in New Jersey or London, but each time a tourist spends $1, that does add up, and it supports the local area. As a society, we seem so focused on permanence and optimization. How can I best utilize every day that I'm on holiday, hitting up every single spot to make sure I have the best time possible? The FOMO is real, but there's something so humbling about the idea of rebuilding a bridge every year. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. It's a reminder that sometimes traditions aren't about practicality. Sometimes they're just about identity, community, and a shared history together. This bridge doesn't just connect two pieces of land, it genuinely connects generations. And that's the sort of connection that's stronger than any building material. Just as we discussed in my previous video in this series about the Saigon apartment complex that had a rebirth, it is so fascinating how buildings can go from simple structures into living, breathing symbols of a community. I'll link that video above if you haven't seen it yet. But hey, if you're someone that's abroad and want to have a stronger connection, let me tell you about today's video sponsor. And would you look at that, I just changed my location. Real talk though, today's video sponsor, NordVPN, was incredibly useful for my recent trip to Southeast Asia in ways you wouldn't expect. If you're unaware, NordVPN is a virtual private network, which allows you to reroute your internet connection anywhere you want to in the world, which is incredibly useful when traveling, especially considering they do have over 7,000 servers, so you can pretty much place yourself wherever you want. While I was in Vietnam and Cambodia, I ran into an issue I'd never had before. You see, ChatGPT didn't work. Turns out ChatGPT isn't available in that region, so I had to wait to get all my answers until I got back to London. Just kidding, with one tap of the button with the NordVPN app, my phone was then placed in the United Kingdom, and then bish bash bosh, ha 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 ha, looks like ChatGPT is working again. And hey, great news for you, if you use my link below, nordvpn.com/Evan, you can get a huge discount on a 2-year plan, making sure you can access everything you need when abroad. So thanks NordVPN for sponsoring. Now let me wrap this up from Cambodia. Also, hope you appreciated all these shots. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and hopefully I'll see you on my channel next Sunday. Goodbye.